Chapter 3, to the head's office. The office has been entered, the only room in the base which uses different color walls and floors. The floor is soft, and Mike has cool wallpaper, earth-themed yet still formal, wowing anyone who would enter. Not to mention the many certificates he has earned, and a portrait of him, Retron and the president. As they sit down, Mike and Zami have a good chat, so good that Zami has never met a nicer person. Mike has gone on to say that he created a secretive team that solves alien-based missions out of the public eye, something which sounds cool, especially for Zami. As Mike is the founder of the Legion, Mike pitched this team to the president, thinking that the help beyond the stars could help defend Earth and perhaps other worlds. Especially as Pod was the first alien ally for the Earth, seeing that not all aliens are hostile, and despite the negative possibilities, it is an idea that has potential, and this is why the Legion is under the radar for now, one step at a time. Zami even warms up to Mike quickly at a point when Zami readily admits that he's an alien, to which Mike thinks that was the case, but thinks of it as alright, if not cool because it would certainly work with the fact that there are some aliens in the team, making Zami more of a fit. Zami explains that he can not only produce his lightning but can store it in a variety of gadgets. Mike picks up on this and writes this as a message which is then sent to the Legion once Zami and the Legion meet face to face. And so, as Mike and Zami go to the formerly named Legion building, Mike talks more about each member of the Legion, so far. Before Zami sees the Legion, Nicole has a small rant with Pod and Arvin about how they are lacking teamwork. After fighting their own flamos instead of working together to fight them all. Arvin is disappointed and Pod is angered, wondering why he is even staying in the base if he hasn't been given a reason to trust them, considering he used to be part of a clan that has given him such a rough time. It also doesn't make it easier that Pod feels like he is a burden to be genetically modified to fight. He hasn't had a proper positive moment recently at a point where he has been disliking himself. Instead of talking to them calmly, she has an idea to have another practice in the base and see if they can cooperate, but Arvin and Pod are getting tired of being shouted at. And so, Zami is taken to the Legion. Entering the Legion building, which is bigger than the base and more modern. It has a TV, a couple of sofas, very few windows and areas for combat practice, such as one which is about to be used. But when Zami arrives, there is a mixed reaction. Arvin is excited to have a new member. Plus Zami looks like someone who is into technology like Arvin is. Pod, however, is skeptical, and Nicole is keeping an open mind. As Mike leaves Zami with the Legion, Nicole wonders about Zami, alongside the others, and Mike states that all the relevant information will be provided. Mike then asks how the mission was earlier, and Nicole explains that the lack of teamwork is making it faulty. The end goals are successful but the journey there is rough, even nearly resulting in failures. Mike reassures Nicole that it will all get better with practice. And perhaps be a bit nicer with the Legion. Even Mike quickly says hello to both Pod and Arvin, and both smile and say hello back, wishing Mike stays. Even though they say that the whole Legion approach when resolving danger is still flawed. That is where Mike thought that Zami would help bring the team into a new era. Mike puts Zami with the Legion as Zami finds Mike comforting, but now he is thrown into a trial as Mike leaves, making Zami uneasy. Before Mike leaves the Legion, Mike orders some servicemen to take Zami's gadgets to the Legion's building so that Zami has his full potential before the trial begins. The Legion was already about to perform the teamwork by getting them all into the obstacle room, where they could practice taking down a goon while remaining in cover. This throws Zami off the rails. No conversation yet, but the trial is starting no thanks to Nicole's orders. Nicole for some time has been slightly on edge, feeling like the past few days have been lacking in progress, and she is after progress because she wants to be a figure of significant change, pleasing her ancestors who were also soldiers, and so far, she has felt like she isn't part of her family tree. Even the last time she saw her parents, they were mainly disappointed in her due to her past actions before becoming a soldier. The barriers are up, and a practice robot is around, walking around on 4 mechanical legs and only shooting stun-based lasers. The trial starts well with each Legion member, with Zami somewhat being added to the Legion immediately. And so, the trial begins. Now they are all at the training corner, it starts to shape shift, barriers are up and a prototype robot firing at them to no end. The goal is to try and take it down from behind, despite its own body being able to turn 360 degrees, and so the Legion must advance. Nicole makes it to a barrier ahead thanks to using her riot shield. Arvin tries to charge up his body to fire green energy from his mouth, trying to shoot and distract the robot, and it turns to make the robot focus on Arvin mildly, and even Pod jumps in the way to take the stun laser instead of Arvin. Distracted, Nicole starts to get behind the robot. However, Nicole states to Zami that he can fire his lightning blaster carefully while moving ahead, but Zami doesn't want to be undermined. He is going to do something that he thinks makes him feel better, hacking through the floor to shut down the whole operation. So he unplugs one of the wiring from the floor, stopping the whole operation. The robot now has no wireless connection, shutting it down before Nicole was about to take a shot, even puzzling both Pod and Arvin as they were about to advance, and even the barriers shut down. And the transparent walls around them. Zami declares himself to be a winner, holding the unplugged wire despite being a team effort, annoying the lot and getting very close to taking down the goon with some teamwork. The Legion is not impressed with this move from Zami, and as a response, Zami shows himself off, showing off how cool he thinks he is, needing nobody. After Zami annoys the lot, Pod is the most triggered, and so to see if Zami's ego is as high as it is, Pod challenges Zami to a fight, and Zami accepts. Zami puts on both his lightning blasters and blunt arm weapons again, as he and Mike brought those to the Legion's building earlier, and Pod puts his trident aside and then runs at Zami. Zami panics, trying to shoot at Pod. Pod is somewhat caught by the lightning, but Pod then hits Zami back slightly, making Zami keen to hit Pod back, but Pod counters it with a swoop to get Zami's punch out the way so Pod can punch Zami back. Zami then tries to zap Pod, and while Pod does get zapped, Zami is then pushed to the ground and thrown towards the wall near the door, finishing the fight. Nicole and Arvin get in the way of Pod to calm Pod down, as Zami struggles to get up. But by the ability of martial arts alone, Pod beats Zami by a mile, upsetting Zami and removing himself from the building. Nicole then tells off Pod for such behavior. Pod is about to explain the main reason for disliking Zami thus far but ultimately refers to Zami as simply immature and unworthy to join the Legion. The Legion must work, otherwise the president of the whole Earth will discontinue this new idea of security from Mike, meaning Pod, Arvin, and even Zami would have to be forced off the Earth and find elsewhere. Mike was about to see how the Legion was doing so far, often checking on them. But he decided to follow Zami while also keeping on tabs the many base updates he often gets.